right about now, some Linux nerds are laughing their ass off at how much of a noob I've been with Android x86. But hey, we all gotta start somewhere. Let's just say that I've learned a few more things about how to set up Android x86, and I think it's about time we gave it another try on Rubbish. So yeah, fulfill your destiny!
The wacky world of MultimediaJay.
This reminds me of when cats sleep on cable boxes. Or the dog van in Dumb and Dumber. Anyways. I could always do this, but then, you know what? Heck with the cow. We'll get him back later. Anyways, yeah, so I brought out the plug-in Blu-ray drive. I brought out the plug-in drive here because it's just the simplicity of optical discs. And I have a bunch of extra burnable DVDs, and some of the fluff got into the drive. Yeah. Alright. Let's let this thing do its thing, and let's blank the drive once again. So, Bootloader. The Grub Bootloader is what I've been missing here. You can actually modify lines in the bootloader to tell the system what displays to use. Gotta do some experimenting with that. So in regards to this sort of thing, Rubbish is actually the closer to what I want from this whole setup, with the Wi-Fi working in this thing because it's a laptop. So let's figure out the display part of it instead of figuring out the Wi-Fi part of it, and old laptops will get to double as Android boxes when I'm done with, well, the Turd Shiba would be next if I ever bought a replacement for it. Okay, let's clean out the drive here. A real keyboard and mouse, sort of. Logitech K120, but close enough. Last night I installed Lubuntu on Rubbish and Ubuntu on... trying to get this right here. I installed Lubuntu on Rubbish and regular Ubuntu on the Silver Bullet. Silver Bullet can make a decent Linux box for tinkering in Linux. But with the new change of heart, so to speak, I think old laptops could, with the right coding in the Grub bootloader, be just what the doctor ordered for Android boxes. Because as we know from what we discussed last time, your average mobile device has a single source of solid-state storage, and then everything else is plug-in. So do most laptops. And so as we see more things like mobile Ryzen and stuff like that, we'll start seeing more possible console replacements. You know, I always thought that maybe a mobile Ryzen laptop, but those are expensive. Those are high-end right now. But maybe some of the less expensive AMD APU laptops out there, when they finally come out, will be usable as consoles when they're bought secondhand or something. I think the Turd Shiba has some potential, but right now I want to keep the Turd Shiba for now. So, okay, so we've got an SDA1 here, ext file system, because, of course, Android has a tie back to Linux. The kernel, less than the more so than the operating system, but hey, it's Linuxy enough for someone like me. Let's just make this ext thing bootable, and let's install Android x86 off of the CD drive. Off of course, the old Remix OS CD that I haven't used for Remix OS in months. I gotta get through the 20-something, however many rewrites you get on these DVD RWs before throwing them out. I like to get my money's worth, you know? Come on, Rubbish. Don't pigeonhole me into using the teeny tiny screen. Eeny beady? What was I thinking? So waiting for the coffee to kick in. The new 9 to 5 is night shift, so I'm trying to see if work can be the last thing I do every day, and I can just go to sleep a little after midnight or 1 in the morning, and then just get up late morning instead of early morning. So, yay, the sun will be up when I get up, and it'll be down when I'm going to bed. I'll feel like a normal person again. Well, no. I am gonna be so tempted to go back into vampire mode like I did in college. I used to get up at 11 o'clock in the morning, take classes in the afternoon, work in the evening, and then study at night when everybody else was sleeping. Nice and quiet. That's how I graduated magna cum laude and earned my first pair of glasses. And a little bit of maybe some acid reflux too, because my caffeine beverage of choice was Diet Coke with lemon. Remember that stuff? Okay, ext4. Let's just format it again just for the heck of it. All data will lose. Yeah, whatever, data. Loser! I realize I don't have to do all of these steps, but I'm just being thorough here. Yes, I want the grub bootloader. I'm going to have to modify the lines of code in order to get it to function with multiple displays. I wonder if I can make duplicates, like start with just the built-in display, with just the external display, and then both displays. Maybe I can modify the bootloader and get things working that way. Regardless, though, we got to set the system up first. So we'll just see if... I'm doing this with the lid closed. I wonder if that means that the new OS is going to prefer that the lid be closed and the HDMI out be in use. We shall see. Expect to write all of those kilobytes. We totally overdid these jokes last time. Okay, I've just installed Android x86 with the lid closed. Does that mean it favors the HDMI out as its primary display? And the speakers pop. The fun part is I can just unplug the plug-in drive in order to not have it boot off the CD. Hey, sir! As much as I make fun of this machine, I really can't, as much as I make fun of this machine, I really can't fault it very much. The build quality is actually more solid than the turd Shiba. This thing has given me less trouble than the turd Shiba as far as build quality and stuff like that goes. It's just, this thing was never built for performance. It was always built for... Okay, never mind. We gotta pop the lid. This thing was never built for performance. Howdy, folks. It was always built for battery life first. So, a little boob light reflection and, hey, yeah, but I'm gonna stay off camera because I haven't shaved yet. Though, with how people are... With some of the stuff I've been hearing from folks in the family, I'm wondering if I should grow a beard. That's an inside joke. I could always look like Wendell from Level 1 Tex. Except I don't have the southern accent. Well, if you install Linux on this, you do that and you do that. Well, with people like, oh, the boob lights, stare at the reflection. This is the first boot of Android x86. I'm going to get this thing set up for games, and then we can look at the bootloader's command lines. There's a file on here somewhere, and because I installed it with a debug capability, I wonder if I can go over to the terminal or something like that, or file manager, modify the lines in the bootloader to allow for one display, the other display, or both. It would be better if Android could support multiple display outs, but I think phones and whatnot are kind of moving away from that. English, United States, as the button says, and as Mario would say in some Nintendo games. Let's go! Wi-Fi is already set up, so that hurdle is cleared. Now we just gotta fix the display hurdle, and I think that can be fixed through coding. Not having to go out and buy stuff, like if we were trying to turn the Silver Bullet into an Android box. Or have to buy a computer that could serve as an Android console. Wi-Fi is already up and running, so that hurdle is cleared. The fun part about fixing the issue with the displays is that I could code that in, as opposed to having to purchase more stuff. This is supposed to repurpose old computers, not necessarily require spending more money. And I definitely think old laptops are the thing I struggle with the most in terms of finding something to do with them after they're no longer the latest and greatest. Okay, now for the part that we definitely could not do on a standard Android device. If I remember right, this Linux CD still has Lubuntu on it, otherwise it has full-blown Ubuntu. But the big thing we're going to do here is I'm going to start a Linux live environment and then navigate over to the grub folder on this Android x86 system, rubbish, excuse me. This is where it gets weird, or shall I say, non-standard. And of course the camera seems to be having trouble focusing. But if my boot order is still correct, it should be starting off of, yes it is! It's Linux time! Ha! Perfect timing as usual. Right as old Clunky is making a bunch of noise, I finally get everything up and running. So I booted off of the live CD for Linux, which was full-blown Ubuntu. Whoop-de-doo, it'll be a little sluggish. And of course, I already found my way into the file system and the grub folder, and I found the menu list that has all the startup options. This is the text file that I can modify to my heart's content to have an option for Android x86 in the internal display, or the external display, or both. I just gotta find out where to type that code I'm supposed to type in order to change what display it uses. Oh yes, that's right. This is Linux. Sudo gedit. Now I should be able to save changes. Let's see. Internal display, external display, data create data image 1, video LVDS 1D, and da. I think that's what we're supposed to use. I'll look something else up if this doesn't work. Alright, that's enough pseudo-wrestling for now. Nyuk, 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 nyuk. Twitter followers will get the joke. Ah, the power of a Linux live CD and some on-the-fly pseudo work. Grub da. Let's try this out. Booting the kernel. Let's see here. Could not find a nuts. Wrong. But at least I know how to modify the file so I can find out what actually works.
Epic fail.